Hi everyone, how are you doing today? January 23rd, 2024. Today we are on day 13 of 100. 100 ways in 100 days. If you're here still, I think we're okay. It'll get a little more interesting, a little more fun, a little less, more thought-provoking, less stirring. Everything is necessary in the end, though, I do believe. So today's question, we are still on who else? The family. So today's question is parents. Your parents were or are never wed, common law, married, divorced, widowed, or other. Loaded questions, I know. But in the end, it's good. So, yeah, remember, just keep the triggers at bay, put them down low, work on them later. Remember to breathe, get some water if you need some water. Make sure your feet are firmly on the ground if there's anything that's upsetting you. And again, if there's anything that's really triggering you and making you really upset, go and speak to somebody. Like, make sure you're not suffering. Don't suffer in silence. It's not, there's time to be silent and then there's times to speak up. So if you're suffering, please speak up. Okay. Anyways, parents. Your parents are or were never wed, common law, married, divorced, widowed, or other. Hello, welcome back. So, being a parent brings a lot of recognition to the things that my parents might have faced, challenges and such. And then I think of other people's parents and their challenges, and my grandparents, and all the sorts of things in the world that bring people together to make a child. And yeah, it's quite incredible when you think about it. So my parents were married and then divorced, but also other, because they were secretly married. So not everybody has that story. That's kind of an interesting little one, right? But there's so many other things. Let's say, okay, lots of people never wed, so maybe they just had a one-night fling, or maybe they, were star-crossed lovers and they only got to hook up for one night, or maybe they weren't like Romeo and Juliet. They weren't allowed to be together, or maybe they just really didn't like each other and it was just sex. Like, right? You never know. However we got here. Common law. That's a thing too. I don't believe in common law myself, but common law is a way of, two people not having a contract, a legal ceremony to become married. But once you're common law, you're considered married legally. So in this country, anyways, in Canada, that's another thing I would like to change. I think that's antiquated and ridiculous. Yeah, we shouldn't be forced to marry someone, let's see, divorced. Well, that's usually why. I married for love and still ended in divorce. So, that happens. As I was talking about before, I really would like to come up with a new way of being in relationship, a new legal way of being in relationship, a new way to do things, because what we do doesn't work in this society, and it causes a lot of problems and costs a lot of money. So I think there must be other ways. Then we had the widowed or widower. That's sad, and sometimes folks decide that they don't want to remarry after that, and they've had their love of their life and nobody's ever going to measure up. But bringing somebody into your life and loving them is always good, and it's always a good time. So, healing enough to allow ourselves to, I guess it's being open to the chance of being hurt again. That's why we fill our heart with gold, like that Japanese pottery, right? The cracks fill with gold, and the more it breaks, the more gold it's worth. It's very valuable having all those lessons, as painful as they may be sometimes. And then other, of course, like my parents, like secretly married. Getting married, of course, following the traditions of your family. Sometimes we think that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to grow up, we're supposed to get married, we're supposed to have kids, we're supposed to get a job, we're supposed to whatever, fill in the blanks, right? But we know that's just getting by, that's not really living, that's existing, and a lot of us probably had other plans or didn't have plans, and then, those things are right in front of you. Expectations about getting married, especially when children are conceived. Some people think they're going to be shamed and looked down upon, and it's amazing when parents stand by their children who've become, say teenage parents, and they help them and nurture them and teach them. I don't know. I think grandparents are always, well, not always, of course, not always. Not every person is even wanting to be a grandparent, but the way that, things work in succession, and if we follow expectations or however what we believe the world wants us to do, then we are cheating ourselves and we're missing out on, our own experiences. And I think it's up to the individual, just like, when a woman decides she's going to carry a baby full term, that's her choice. And parents, when you are a parent, you're a parent. That's not a choice. It's not a choice. So yeah, having others to back you up is very helpful. So following their expectations, of course, sometimes we just go that way because it's just easier and we think it's safer, maybe. Then we have, of course, religious incongruencies. So sometimes people get together and their religions don't allow them to stay together. So, the baby gets born and the parents aren't together anymore, or the baby has to go up for adoption, or, something along that lines, raised with the grandparents as the parent. Shotgun weddings, right? Being forced into that, regardless of how the baby comes to be conceived, because sometimes that's not always pleasant either. Those things happen too, unfortunately. Hopefully less nowadays. We're raising our children. I believe there's a better society that we live in around the way relationships work, and forcing people and things like that, and even not even forcing, but sometimes feeling that you must do it, or you'll be shunned, or you'll be left behind, abandoned, or disregarded, or whatever. I know some of you know. So the same with like religious, not getting along religiously, racially also. Sometimes love comes along. Love's colorblind. Love doesn't care actually even what people look like. They care about the vibration and the frequency and the resonance that's coming from that other person. And when they match, doesn't matter if it's low vibration or high vibration, when they match, then we usually couple up. So it doesn't matter what color your skin is. And of course, back in not even very long ago, it was a thing, and it's nice to see that it's not a thing anymore, because there's a lot of little babies probably out there that could have used both parents, and out of someone's spite or limited beliefs, that wasn't able to happen. So that's one thing we can maybe check off in humanity as evolving. The one night miracle, I think that's always so sweet. two people get together, say they're on a vacation somewhere, and the woman ends up expecting and it was unexpected, of course. Yeah, sometimes those are just a blessing, and I think all babies are blessings. And yeah, we're blessed to be parents, no matter which way we get to be that. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot, don't I? Sorry. Yeah, it's a loaded question too, and it's digs up some things. And at the same time, some of these things can help us understand our parents, help us understand maybe what they might have gone through, and understand their parents, and how things might have been for them. This is our own, it's a path to forgiveness. And once we have that part taken care of, where we can forgive part of our genetics, right? Like, they make us. We're 50% mom, 50% dad, and you can't be carrying around ill will against yourself, because your being, still ultimately is part of them. So forgive and heal, and we'll feel better. I know. I am, and I continue to. So until tomorrow, I wish you a good afternoon, and be well.